Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Knutson, and I'm happy to have you join us today to learn a little bit more about the 33rd annual Hudson Hot Air Affair. The event is always held on the first full weekend in February, so this year it'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, February 4th, 5th, and 6th. One thing we want to do is, like the last couple of years, we want to thank our major corporate sponsor. And this year, again, it will be Wisconsin Credit Union. Without their financial support, we wouldn't be able to do the things we do. So thank you, Wisconsin Credit Union. With the COVID pandemic and complications with Omicron and other variants of the virus, we're taking precautions. So we're bringing you this meeting by Zoom this year instead of being a live event. So you see everybody on the screen here. As the moderator, let's start with introductions and specifically what your responsibilities are for the Hot Air Affair. So I'm John Knutson, often known as the grain of sand and the swimsuit of humanity. That's how I'm usually known, but I'm one of the 5 original founders, and my responsibilities for the Hot Air Affair are organizing and running the smooshboarding event, and we'll hear a lot more about that in a little while. So let's hear from the president of our Hot Air Affair organization, Miss Michelle Webb.
Hi, I'm Michelle Webb. I'm the president of the Hudson Hot Air Affair. We have been a 33-year event going on in Hudson. It's been great. I recently took over president position just within the last couple of years, so I am still new and learning the ropes.
Very good. Okay, next, how about Linda White?
Hi, I'm Linda White. I have been involved with the Hudson Hot Air Affair from the very start, and my jobs are quite a few different things. Distribution of brochures and posters, making the quilt or wall hanging that we raffle off, lots of different things.
Michelle's one of the original 5, so thanks, Michelle. Next, we have AJ Hine.
Hello, this is my 3rd year with the Hudson Hot Air Affair, so I'm still getting my feet wet, but this year I am lucky enough to be able to join the leadership committee as the vice president, and I am the new logistics coordinator that is interning with Ruth. This is Ruth's last year, and she will be retiring out of the position, so I am busily spending my time learning from her.
Very good, AJ. Thank you. Let's start with a group of questions, and we'll kind of sort them out here. The first several questions are going to be for Michelle, the president. So for those who may not be familiar with our illustrious event, let's start with the most basic of questions. What the heck is a hot air affair?
Well, Hot Air Affair is hot air balloons. We have about 35 plus hot air balloons that launch a couple different times throughout the weekend, that you can go right up onto the field at EP Rock, talk to the pilots, watch them inflate balloons, and just watch them lift off and just watch that beauty in the sky. Plus, we do a lot of other events throughout town. Just different sponsors jump in and throw in events that we offer for everybody to come do.
Well, that's great. You know what everyone needs to understand is when you're dealing with hot air balloons, everything is weather dependent. So winds have to be lower than 8 knots. The visibility has to be good. Not so much for when you're flying. The visibility is really important when you're trying to land. So it's hypercritical that the pilot has good visuals on where they can land that balloon and stuff. So okay, Michelle, maybe the most important information we can share with everyone, given the pandemic, are the necessary precautions and what they might look like. So what is the 2022 Hot Air Affair going to look like given the pandemic and the variants?
Well, this year we're really trying to get back to our in-person event. Last year was very hybrid, worked out great, but we really want to bring people back into the community and do some fun stuff. So what we do ask is, if you aren't feeling well, you're showing any symptoms of illness, please don't attend. Just try to stay away. If you're in an indoor event, please wear a mask. Otherwise, just keep your distance and bundle up. It's going to be cold.
That's great. Michelle, what is the launch going to look like? I know last year in the heat of the pandemic, they did what were called pop-up launches. This year, what is our launch event going to look like on the field for Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday morning?
Well, this year we are back at EP Rock School Grounds, so we will be out on the field, inflating our balloons and going up in the sky, hopefully.
Awesome. Are we going to be having food trucks at the events this year? Will there be food for all the guests who come?
Yes, there will be food outside and inside the school.
Wonderful. Okay, let's talk about a few of the things that are new for 2022. And one of the biggest, most important are our friends, Cindy and Stu Schultz with the Hudson House. Tell us a little bit about what's happened there over the last 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, so the Hudson House was our headquarters for the last 33 years. All of our pilots stayed there. We ran all our meetings. We used an office down there. And we were very sad to hear, but happy for them that they have sold the Hudson House. So it will be being torn down later in the next couple months here. So we really appreciated everything they've done for us, and we really saw how much they've done. I mean, we always knew what they have done for us and how great it was to have that partnership, but this year we've had to find new meeting locations, we've had to find office space, we've had to find storage space, and just in general planning, they have the space available for our pilots to do banquets and to get together and have meals together and have a nice fun Sunday morning send off. And unfortunately, this year was tough trying to accommodate those, and we've had to cut some stuff out.
Well, we really want to thank Sue and Cindy for 32 years of helping the Hot Air Affair along at every step. What is the new venue, if you can say, Michelle?
Well, we've had to spread out and use 2 different hotels for our pilots to stay in. So we've just kind of had to improvise, and we'll have to do pilot meetings, on the school grounds or in the hotel parking lots. We've had to scale back on some of the extra things we offer the pilots just because we don't have a large meeting space for them.
Sure. Well, thanks for that information. I understand you've got a couple of new nonprofit organizations that are helping this year with the Hudson Hot Air Affair. Could you tell us a little about those?
Yeah, so first off, we had the Lions join us this year, and they are going to be taking over the tasting event that will happen the Saturday before Hot Air Affair, so the weekend prior, January 20. I'm going to make sure I get this right here so I don't say the wrong date. January 29th from 7 to 11 p.m. We are very happy to have them hop on board and help us out, and they are now taking over that event.
Very good.
And then the other one that we have is the Hudson Rotary Club is going to do a St. Croix River Dunk, and that's going to be held on Saturday, February 5th. And all the information you can find for that will be on our website. But that is something new and brand new. And no, I will not be dunking in the river.
I have done the river dunk before with a Hudson High School tennis team as part of a fundraiser and stuff. And if you've ever seen the episode of Seinfeld about shrinkage, it may or may not be true. Sorry. Michelle, how is the theme this year playing out in promoting nature and outside recreation with the s'mores and more balloons galore?
So we have been partnering with the Hudson City Parks, St. Croix County Parks, and Willow River Park and Kinnickinnick State Parks. And then we're going to be sharing all the assets they have to offer. The National Scenic Riverways, Carpenter Nature Center is another great place. So we're really doing a lot of free events that get you outdoors and checking out all their parks.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Now, Linda, as one of the 5 original founders of the event, this is the 33rd annual Hudson Hot Air Affair, which highlights winter in Hudson. What do you think is the reason for the Hudson Hot Air Affair's success over 30 plus years?
I think because we're always adding to the event, trying to add more things that when a family comes to Hudson, they're not just here to see the balloons. We have all kinds of activities going on so that they can get the kids involved with things. They can go watch smushboarding. They can participate in a lot of things. And it gives them a whole fun weekend of stuff, not just come and see the balloons fly.
Yeah, and that's great. You and I have been on as long as anybody. I should point out the others involved. Evie Nurbin is one of the founders, Carla Timmerman, and then Rose Akins, a balloon pilot who really conceived the event of flying. And the four of us just took advantage of Rose and turned it into a community event back in 1990. So every year people want to know what the theme is going to be for the next year, like ahead of time, so they can kind of plan for their costumes and stuff. How did you come up with this year's theme?
I think that was Jackie's idea, but mainly because because of COVID, people are really turning to doing things like camping. So family can go somewhere and they're not right next to other people. And so camping has become extremely popular.
Yeah, the state park has been pretty busy. They've had record
Very.
attendance over the last year or so. People ask this question all the time. And for those who don't know, why do you hold the event in the middle of winter?
It helps bring business into the community at a really down time of the year for businesses. So it really helps boost the economy in our town.
Well, and I remember talking to Rose Akins during that first year and really trying to wrap my head around flying a balloon in the middle of winter. And I asked, why would you do that? And she said, well, duh, hot air rises. So a balloon actually flies much easier with less propane heat and power, so to speak, in the winter than it does in the hot, humid summer. So
right.
it really kind of made sense, once I heard that. But the Hudson Hot Air Affair is now the largest balloon rally in the middle of winter, I think, in the country. No one else is stupid enough to do what we do, though. So, all right. Can you tell us at all a little bit? I know one of the special balloons is the Montgolfier balloon. Are any of you familiar with the Montgolfier balloon that may be coming again this year?
Yeah, it's owned by the Whitaker family, and Larry Nicolay flies the balloon, but Dave and Sue Johnson were the ones that built that balloon about 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's one. It's a beautiful blue balloon, and I believe the history is back in France. I think there were some brothers, the Montgolfier brothers, who created this very festive looking balloon. It's very decorative. It looks like a calliope. And it's just beautifully spectacular in white snow in the winter when that Montgolfier balloon takes off. So I hope you all get a chance to look at that. Linda, one of the things I want to ask is, will guests at the launch field be able to talk to the pilots during the launches in the Moonglow?
Yes, they will be able to be outside and communicate with the balloon pilots, and especially the Moonglow is a good time to talk to the pilots because they're not busy getting ready to take off flying. They've got the balloon up and inflated, and you can actually walk up and talk to them and get a lot of good information from them.
Yeah, that is fun. I know last year, again, in the midst of the COVID pandemic, again, we didn't have the launch field. We didn't have the merchandise for sale in the craft fair. Will there be merchandise available this year, Linda?
Yes, inside EP Rock School, we will have merchandise available. We have like our 3/4 zip sweatshirts. We've got t-shirts, lots of different items that we have for sale. And that's what helps fund our event.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, AJ, a couple of questions for you. This year's event has more than 30 balloons. How will the torchlight parade work this year with all those burners and flames? What do we have going on with the torchlight parade on Friday night?
It's going to be even more amazing because we're going to have more fire, more flames, and maybe just a smidge longer because we have some extra vendors this year, which is amazing. It's a really, really short parade. It's Hudson's shortest parade all year long. So to be able to come in on the street, park safely, and then be able to see the fireworks afterward. It's really an experience. If you've never came before, it's really something that you have to see, and the kids absolutely love it.
Yeah, the parade's pretty neat. If you haven't seen it, thousands of people come up. They're lined up along the streets from the Wells Fargo parking lot down Second Street, and we take a right, right at the corner by the Chamber, and we head toward Dick's Bar, and we end at Lakefront Park. And it is spectacular. If you have a chance, bring the family and kids out. It's an incredible sight. More fire sounds to me like a good thing. So,
Yes,
and that helps keep us warm, actually, too. You can
it really
feel it.
does.
When they burn the burners, you know, for 10 or 15 feet, you get this blast of warmth that's very, very nice. So, AJ, next question. Give us an overview of one of the most popular and iconic events for Saturday night called the Moon Glow.
Well, on Saturday, it's also going to be at EP Rock. We'll have the Moon Glow or Field of Fire, depending obviously on weather and wind, which one we can have. But the overall goal is that all of our balloons will be able to inflate. You'll be able to see them in the glow of the evening. It makes the best Christmas cards, the best family photos. Also, as Linda said, it's the best time to be able to actually interact with the pilots. It's a great time for the kids to really take a moment and take the entire experience in. And it's something that you just have to be there to see. There's amazing videos out there on our Moon Glows and Field of Fires, but there is nothing like being there in person.
It is a spectacular event if you can get a chance to see that. Amanda, tell us a little bit about how people not familiar with the event can learn about what's happening at the Hot Air Affair.
Yeah, absolutely. The best way to keep up to date is by keeping on our online, our Facebook, our Twitter, keeping up. We have a brochure that is out. It goes out to many, many businesses, and we have them available just to pick up and have all weekend long. We also have the Western Wisconsin Journal, and we also do advance announcements if there's special weathering announcements, or if there's other things that are coming up. We're going to have that right on our website, so it's really, really easy to use. And then we will also post right on there if we're going to fly or not, and what the decisions are as the weather changes. And also we're going to be live streaming a lot of our events this year. So it's a great opportunity. If you see all of a sudden a Facebook Live from the Hudson Hot Air Affair, you should click it and see it as it goes.
Well, that's awesome. The website for all of you is www.hudsonhotairaffair.com. So you can check that out. Brochures, we print 20,000 brochures a year, so they're at almost all the gas stations. There we go. Michelle's holding one up. They look beautiful again this year with the theme S'mores and More, balloons galore. So grab the best two ways for me. I would say grab the brochure or check the website, and you can find almost anything you need there. If we can, explaining the 2022 events and considering the safety protocols and stuff, either AJ or any of you, are there any precautions that you want people to know that the committee's taking, or are there precautions that the guests who are coming should take?
Absolutely, John. So we would like to just make the comment that we know that COVID is ever changing, and that we're trying to make the best decisions as we go. So we're going to continue to follow any of our local guidelines, whatever it is, what our city and county is recommending. We do recommend that masks be worn indoors. We all kind of know how with EP Rock, everybody kind of gets tunneled in those two doors to get into the gym. This year, we're going to have more toilets outside, so more porta potties. I know that's not necessarily the most exciting way to go to the bathroom in the winter, but it allows us to be able to manage and mitigate some of our flow. And also, one of the other things I have is that we're going to be parking only on one side around the school. So we do encourage everybody to pay attention to the signs. We're going to have those the few days before the event. So we don't actually decide which side of the road. It's going to be a police department decision, and we're going to make that decision when it comes a little bit closer to the event, depending on how snow may or may not come. We just never know.
Yeah, parking obviously at an event that draws upwards of 7,000 to 8,000 to 10,000 people, parking can be an issue. Just please be respectful with the parking. You know, all of us are trying to do our best to create a safe event for everybody and specifically for kids. And so give each other a break when it comes to parking. So, well, very good. Okay. I'm going to spend just a little bit of time talking about smooshboarding now, the World Championships of Smooshboarding. If you haven't seen it, it's a spectacle. It's a event where 4 people on 2 boards or skis compete against another team in a heat race, and it's a double elimination race. So for only $10 for registering a team, you just have to be able to endure a little humiliation because the MC is an absolute grain of sand in the swimsuit of humanity. And he likes to kind of rib you a little when you fall and tumble, and it's funny. It's hilarious. Amanda, have you got a little TikTok video you could maybe share your screen with? We'll see if we can get that on and show people a little bit about what smooshboarding is. So that shows you a little bit about what smooshboarding is. We've got a series of pictures. Amanda, you can bring up one photo at a time, and I can talk a little bit about it. But you see, the idea is 2 teams run an obstacle course, and the first one to finish wins the heat and gets to race again. And after 2 losses, you're out. But normally we have anywhere from 4 to 12 teams that show up. So if we've got some of those pictures we can show instead of the video, then we'll talk a little bit more about each one. Amanda will try to share those. Okay, so this year I can recall the theme was silver screen. And so you can see the team in the foreground here is obviously superheroes. In fact, I know these are some of my friends from Catalyst. Scott Hintz on the far right there is Superman. Mariah Haberman, the young lady in the middle, was from Discovery, Wisconsin, who came and did a little expose on the Hot Air Affair. And then 2 other participants from Catalyst. And in the background, you can see Mel Berg along with Aaron Rabideau's Titanic. So they create the best costumes ever. And so the Titanic was theirs this year. So if we got another picture, let's see what else we got. This year again, we got a couple of them there. Okay, so the guys here dressed in the Harlequin costumes. I don't remember. I think the theme this year was Circus or something like that. That svelte, overweight guy in the blue and yellow outfit is myself, and then the Smooshbucklers, the world famous Smooshbucklers, the team that everybody loves to hate. They create controversy every time they race, and all in good nature and fun, of course. But Jimmy Kimblin's the leader there in the front of the smooshboard team. He's down in Florida, and that coward would not accept my challenge to bring the smooshboards back to race this year. But we do wish Jimmy and the Smooshbucklers the best. So next slide, Amanda. This group again on the far left, as you're looking at the picture, is Mel Berg and then Aaron Rabideau, and then 2 of their friends on the right. Abe Lincoln in the middle happens to be me. I can't remember. Linda, do you know what the theme might have been that year?
I'm trying to think what that.
Yeah,
Sure.
Me as Abe Lincoln, and this team was called Sister Twisters. So it was the movie about the hurricanes and the animals flying around and Sharknado and Mel's outfit and stuff. And the costumes are half the event, right? And if you're not good at smooshboarding, there is a costume contest where you can win prizes worth well under $10. And they're the same prizes as the race winners. Oftentimes, this group of gals, Mel and Aaron and their friends, they win both. So they win double prizes sometime, along with that monstrous trophy that Jimmy Kimblin and the Smooshbucklers put together. Next photo. Okay, this is that Titanic costume that I was telling you about with Mel Berg and Aaron Rabideau. Titanic, you can see the Barbie dolls hanging off the ship. I thought it was one of the best costumes I've ever seen in my life. And then that handsome devil to the left, I don't know who that is. I think it's Brad Pitt. But next picture. Now, this is a good example of what a great smoosh board looks like. Rather than using the generic boards that we can provide, I always suggest to teams to build your own boards where you use shoes or boots that fit each of the participants. And that's what these guys, this team here, the young lady along with her teammates, they brought a pair of old shoes and put them on. This way you don't fall out of your bindings, and they work great. I always tell people that when they say, can we use the generic boards that are there? And I said, yes, you can. But the analogy I'll give you is it's like a nag's chance of winning the Kentucky Derby. It just probably isn't going to happen. Here's Jimmy Kimblin as Dorothy in the middle here, along with the rest of the smooshbucklers dressed as the 25th anniversary. The Wizard of Oz was the theme that year. And this is what these guys do. These teams come dressed to the hilt, which is awesome. It's just wonderful seeing these teams dress creatively like they do. So Jimmy Kimblin's always been a crowd favorite with the smooshbucklers. I think we only have one or two more. Yep, and this is the smooshbucklers dressed as the Wizard of Oz carrying the MC, because the MC was trying to slow them down and let the other team catch up and hopefully win, but that wasn't going to happen. Jimmy Kimblin's a strong little fella there, and he just literally picked my svelte 200+ pound figure up and carried me across the finish line. So that's Jimmy and the boys. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
All right, very good. All right, well, good. We can go back to seeing all of your lovely faces and stuff. Thank you for showing those, AJ. So for just $10 in the registration fee, you can have the glory and prestige that comes along with winning the World Championships of Smooshboarding. And like I said, if you're no good at smooshboarding, you can come dressed in costumes and win the same prize as worth well under $10. And if you're the best dressed outfit there. So we'd love to have you come. If you would like to register a smooshboard team, again, the brochure and the website both have the information. My email is jknutson, Knutson, 1535 or you can call me on my cell at 651-210-7858, and I'll get you registered for a team. It is a blast. I would encourage you, along with some friends or a company, get together and get a smooshboard team to come along. It's one of the many events, and the reason we have so many events is because over the years we've learned that ballooning is weather dependent, and if the balloons don't fly, it's been great to have the ice carving and the kites and the craft show and the fat tire bike race and different things like that. If you get a look at the brochure, and Michelle, if you can hold that up one more time, that brochure, if you open it up, it is jam-packed from pre-event events a week or two before. They usually have a ski event at Camp St. Croix and the wine tasting events, and they have almost millions, a few less, but it literally is jam-packed before the event and during the event. So I encourage you to get one of the brochures and take a look. Can any of the three of you talk a little bit about the commercial balloons that will be attending? Does anyone know some of the specialty shapes or commercial balloons that are coming?
Yeah, actually, we have them right here in our brochure.
Oh,
So we are going to have Remax, a new one, Sweetly Kismet candy store balloon. That one's called Sugar High. Touchstone Energy Cooperative is going to be back again. And also we have Montgolfier and Cloud Dancer that will be here.
awesome. And then maybe Michelle, as president, can you actually acknowledge maybe some of the sponsors for this year's event too?
Oh boy, we have lots.
We have a lot. Well, maybe just the main ones.
Well, we have a lot of our charter sponsor has been a sponsor that's been here since 1990, and we're actually just down to Zappa Brothers for that one. But a couple other local balloon sponsors. We have Carboni's Pizzeria, we have Family Fresh in River Falls, First State Bank and Trust, Hudson Ford. What else? We have Smiles and Motion, Stillwater Balloons, St. Croix Lanes. let me see here. There's a lot. If you look on the back of our brochure, there are a ton of sponsors.
Terrific. AJ, where do you get a brochure?
We have brochures in a lot of our downtown businesses. You can pick one up at the chamber. We have them at bulletin boards. Michelle, where are some other places that we have them in Hudson?
A lot of the local gas stations will have them. So we try to get them out to the gas stations. We will be sending an electronic form to the school district. So they will send it out with their weekly emails to the families. Other than that, anybody who is a sponsor, we bring them brochures to hand out. So just kind of keep your eyes open for them.
All right. Hey, AJ, how do we listen to the live streaming events?
Facebook Live is going to be the easiest way to listen to and get with any of our live streamed events.
Okay, very good. How, maybe Linda will have you answer this. How can people volunteer at the Hot Air Affair?
Sometimes balloonists need extra crew to help get their balloon inflated and take off, and sometimes even helping chase the balloon, because it helps having a local person that knows the roads. So that's one of the ways that people can get involved, is by helping crew for a balloon.
And literally anyone who has an interest in this event can contact maybe Michelle as the president. If you'd like to join the committee, we are always looking for extra people because many hands make light work and there's a lot of tasks. You guys that are viewing this should understand that this committee works 52 weeks a year and they're constantly bettering the events and activities, and we face challenges once in a while with our venues, with the Hudson House situation. It's been a little bit taxing this year to get everything done physically, but anybody who's interested in volunteering can contact the committee, and you can find our information on the brochure. Call any of us and we can steer you kind of in the right direction. Well, thank you. That's a lot of information for the Hot Air Affair this year. What I would like to do too, as we get near the end of this, is I'd like to go with Linda as a founding member first. Tell us a little bit maybe about your favorite or most memorable event during 33 years or 32 years past of Hot Air Affair.
I think my favorite year was the year that we had, it was a Civil War theme, and we had the gas balloon here, we had the smoke balloon here, we had a lot of specialty shaped balloons that year. And that's one thing I love, is seeing those specialty shaped balloons flying. They're really cool to see.
Very good. Michelle, President Michelle, how about you? Favorite event? Now, most people wouldn't know this, but Michelle is Linda's daughter. And I remember Michelle coming when she was about this big. So, I mean, we're going on 33 years and I don't know that Michelle is 33 yet. So Michelle, how about your favorite activity or event?
Well, I just always remember way back when I was itty bitty, one of my favorite events to help my mom with was we had stuffed animals. We had to put them in a Ziploc bag and then we hid them in the snow. I believe it had something to do with Groundhog's Day.
Yep.
So I remember being little itty bitty and running around the Lakefront Park and hiding these stuffed animals in the snow and burying them in the snow and everything. That's one of my first memories of Hot Air Affair. And it was just fun. And we've redone it a couple of years when we've had Groundhog's Day fall on our event.
Wow,
More
great.
Recently, some
You
of my
bet.
favorite things is I just really love the moon glow. It's just so pretty and nice to go to, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it should be noted too that Linda does a special thing on for the raffle at the pilot's reception. She usually creates a quilt that's absolutely spectacular, photos of the balloons and different concepts from the events and stuff. So thank you, Linda, for what you do for that raffle prize. That's very much sought after. So AJ, how about you? You're only 3 years into this, but what's been a favorite memory or event from the Hot Air Affair?
I might be 3 years in on the committee, but I have been a fan of the Hot Air Fair my entire adult life when I moved to Hudson when I was 19. So I really, really love the event. What got me hooked on it is I actually didn't know there was hot air balloons. I attended this smooshboarding event and with the hot-headed Hilkies, and they were my family and they raced, and I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here, but let's do it. It was
Did,
so
I have to ask, did I humiliate you at all?
a little bit. That's okay. I deserved it. I mean, if I fall down, you fall down.
Oh man, that's awesome. I did not know that you were part of the hot-headed Hilkies, the Ryan Hilke and his clan with Kim and a couple others were really good friends. In fact, employees of mine when I owned the printing company RPG and Resco here in town, and the Hilkies were great. And so I'm glad to hear you were part of that.
I was
I
there.
think, what's that?
Rush.
Yeah. Did you guys win that year though? If you didn't, you came close.
That year. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are very good. So, okay. My favorite thing about the event, and I get nostalgic with this, it's the friendships that the 5 founders developed, myself with Linda, Abby, Carla, and Rose Akins, and I still stay in touch with all of them in some capacity. If anybody knows anything about the history of events, an event normally has a life of 7 years. So that first year or two, it's exciting and you learn new things and you do things. But about year 4 or 5, people say, this is a lot of work. I don't want to do this anymore. And by year 7, they're done. So for this event to have gone on for 33 years, going on 33 years this year, it's really special. It's a special event. The thing that I enjoy the most about the Hot Air Affair every year is on the mornings that we can fly. If you go out onto the launch field and watch the kids, it is the greatest thing ever to see the awe that these kids exhibit for these balloons. And the pilots are fantastic. They will actually lift the kids up and put them in the balloon for a little while to give them the feeling and oftentimes they'll let them pull the burner. And it's just a kind of an experience that these kids will never, ever forget. And so we all have stories, and I think it's really incredible to have this event going on 33 years, and I'm glad to be a part of it. So last question for each of you. Is there any last comment, question, or statement you'd like to make, Linda?
Definitely bundle up. Hand warmers and foot warmers are a great invention, and get out and enjoy the being outside. And our camping theme this year really promotes getting outside and doing things outdoors, and just watch the fun that the excitement on everyone's faces, and watching those balloons go is amazing.
Yep. Thank you, Linda. How about you, Michelle?
I'm just excited to be back in person. Last year was unique. It was great, but I am just excited to be live and be able to interact with people and be out on the field and have our pilots come in and interacting with the community. And so just come on out and join us and have fun. And if you ever want to be a part of it, definitely reach out and contact us. We could definitely use some more hands on deck.
Well, Michelle, thank you for all the work that you do on behalf of all of us. So thanks very much. AJ, last words from you?
I would just like to let everybody know that volunteering can be something simple. It can just be an hour or 2-hour commitment. This is 100% volunteer ran, and that's something I've really gotten to immerse myself in the last 3 years. But it takes a community to make such an amazing event. And you guys we've had so many people involved, so many businesses involved. And really, if you have just even a couple hours that you could help out to commit to an event like this, we have lots of different places that we can need extra hands.
Very, very good. Thank you very much. So that's a lot of information on the upcoming Hudson Hot Air Affair. We hope you can join us for some or all the events and activities. Want to thank again Wisconsin Credit Union for being our primary sponsor for the event. Without them, we couldn't do this. So remember, you can visit www.hudsonhotairaffair.com or you can grab a brochure and find out all the information that you need, or the information to ask us if you have a question. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, February 4th, 5th, and 6th of 2022.